So we have started the Summer of Love Sunday School series this summer. And our first story, do you remember who it was about? It was about Sarah and Abraham, and it was about hospitality. Do you remember what hospitality is? Yeah, you're right. Hospitality is being friendly and generous and kind and taking people in, even if they're strangers or visitors or whoever they are, treating them as guests. So we talked about hospitality with Abraham and Sarah. And then last week, who was in our story last week? Do you remember what our story was about? Yeah, it was about Shiphrah and Puah, and they showed bravery or courage. They were incredibly brave. They stood up for what was right. So in our first story, our friends are in Canaan, and our second story, our friends are in Egypt. And today, we're back in Israel with a story of David talking about kindness. So we're all over the board. We were in Genesis, we were in Exodus, and now we're in 2 Samuel, which is still the Hebrew Bible, but a lot of time has passed between the story of Sarah and Abraham and their guests in Genesis, and then the story of Shiphrah and Puah in Exodus, to the story of David and his kindness that he shows in 2 Samuel. Like we just talked about, our first story of our summer of compassion, or our summer of love, was the story about hospitality with Sarah and Abraham. So if you'll see on our little family tree here, Hagar and Abraham had Ishmael, and Sarah and Abraham had Isaac. Isaac married Rebekah, and Rebekah and Isaac had Esau and Jacob. Jacob married Leah and Rachel, and Jacob and Leah and Rachel, between them, had Dinah and the 12 sons, or the 12 tribes of Israel, which included Joseph. So then if you remember in Exodus, there's the whole story of Moses and how God's people exit Egypt and exit the slavery and oppression that they experience in Egypt and go back to the promised land. So then we're here with David today in 2 Samuel, and David is in the promised land, living in the kingdom of Israel. So let's read our story today.
Happy Kids TV.
The Holy Tales.
Today's story is about how David honored his promise made to his friend Jonathan. When Jonathan and David declared their lifelong friendship, Jonathan asked an important favor from David. He knew that one day David would become the king, and when that happened, he would show kindness to any member of Jonathan's family who were still around. After Jonathan's death, David remembered the promise he made to his friend, but he was not sure if any family members of Saul's or Jonathan's were still alive. He called for a man named Ziba, who had once been a loyal servant to King Saul. David asked Ziba,
"Is there anyone still alive from King Saul's family? If yes, then I would like to show God's kindness to the person."
Ziba replied,
"I know that one of Jonathan's sons is still alive. His name is Mephibosheth."
David immediately sent for him. Mephibosheth came in front of David, but was terrified. He knew his grandfather, King Saul, tried many a times to kill David, and he thought David wanted to kill him for Saul's actions.
"Don't be afraid,"
David assured him.
"I mean no harm. I want to help you. I had made a promise to your father that I will always be kind to his family, and I would like to honor that promise. I would return you all the land that once belonged to your grandfather. However, I would like if you live here in the palace with me."
Mephibosheth was overcome with gratefulness. He fell to the ground, crying as he thanked David for showing such kindness towards him.
did David show kindness to in this story? You're right. David showed kindness to Jonathan by keeping his promise, but David also showed kindness to one of Jonathan's sons. Can you say the name of Jonathan's son? It is kind of a hard name to say, isn't it? Who have you showed kindness to? What is a time that someone else has shown kindness to you? Why is it important to show kindness to others? Do you think it's hard to show kindness to others when they aren't kind to you first? Have you ever heard of the golden rule? The golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do to you, or do to others as you would have them do to you. So there's some times where it's really easy to show kindness to other people, right? And to treat other people like you want to be treated. But there's other times when it's not so easy to be kind. But God wants us to be kind to everyone all of the time, no matter what. God wants us to do to others as we would have them do to us. As you go about your week, as you go about your summer, I want you to start either a kindness journal or start putting sticky notes around the house, maybe of acts of kindness that you've seen other people do or that you've done. I want you to really pay attention to how you are being kind in your life and how others are being kind to you. And I want you to be kind in times when it's really hard and the times when it's not so hard. I want you to treat everybody just like God asks us to. Can you treat everybody with kindness? It seems like an easy thing, but sometimes it's not so easy, is it? So go forth, everyone, and treat everyone with kindness. And I will see you next week. And let's say a prayer. 1, 2, 3, clap. Dear God, thank you so much for showing us kindness and love so that we can show others kindness and love. Please be with us and help us to show kindness to other people, even when it might be kind of hard. God, again, we thank you for your kindness. We thank you for your love, and help us to show kindness and love in hard times and in easy times and in all times. We ask this in your name, and all God's people say, amen. Have a great day, everybody. Look at my hair. It's poking right out. Crazy hair day. See you guys. Have a good day. Oh, I fixed it. Bye now.